Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Happy Monday, Bears fans, back in studio. Been a while since we've been in studio on a Monday. Feels good. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, who's typing away, Nicholas Moreano, all with us today. Appreciate all the Bears fans being here, waiting as we have a special guest right off the top. He's out recruiting in the South. He's Florida co-defensive coordinator and defensive line coach Sean Spencer, who, of course, coached Gervon Dexter at Florida last season. Coach, thanks so much for pulling over for us and taking some time to talk about a player that Bears fans are really excited about.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys, and I appreciate you having me on the show, and go Big G.
So let's start right away with, I think, the question that a lot of fans want to know, and it's something that Gervon actually talked to us about Friday on the first day of Minicamp, which was just the idea of responsibilities, being asked to do one thing at Florida versus what maybe the Bears are going to ask him to do. And quite frankly, I think a lot of it just has to do with the college game versus the pro game a little bit as well. And you have experience in the pros. You were just with the Giants before you went over to Florida. Can you give us an idea, maybe clear some of that up, maybe the idea of how you use Gervon Dexter versus what the Bears might want him to do?
Well, there's some similarities in what we asked them to do in some of the fronts that we played. I think what they'll play there at the Bears is probably more suited for the way G's game is. It's a little bit more up the field type of front, and it plays to his athleticism a little bit more. Not that we did not have that, but certainly at that level, he could really prosper with that type of system.
Coach, we all watch the tape, and it kind of jumps out at you like, whoa, he's slow to get off the ball, and then everyone's trying to figure out the reasoning for it, and people are saying, well, he'll get coached up that way with the Bears, but it's like they're not coaching him to get off the ball in Florida, but it's more scheme. Can you explain like why, when you watch the tape, the way you guys had him go about his business, so to speak?
Well, when he was in some of those inside techniques, we play it a little bit different. It's more of a react attack as opposed to when he's a 3 technique or a shade. He's going to be more of an attack react type of style. I think a lot of that's encompassed by the way the pro game is as opposed to college. So in the college game, there's like 15 signalers. You see that on TV. There's boards. There's who's the live signaler, who's the dummy signaler. In the pros, the mic will walk up to him and go overstack 44. And then that's it. He's got nothing to think about. I think, obviously you guys saw that the issues with the get off, and clearly, that's not something that we coach him to go slow there. But the reaction time will just be a little bit different because he'll know what's going on right away when he gets those calls, and they'll just line up and go. But you saw once he got to the point of attack, there's like 15 to 20 plays, right, where I'm watching him and I'm thinking, if I'm still with the New York Football Giants, like I'm watching this guy and I'm saying, man, this dude's a first-round talent, right? So there's a disconnect between, the application of what's going on the field and really the playmaking ability. And I think that playing in that system with Chicago, he's just, he's going to ascend, and it'll be a much better situation for him.
So, Sean, you said, this is a guy that can be a first-round talent. You were with him for a season. What stands out about Gervon Dexter when you just watch him on the field, see him do his thing? What stands out about him?
Unbelievable power at the point of attack, ability to press himself off blocks. And as you know, the players in the NFL, consistently are better, especially in the interior, playing guys like Zach Martin and those guys, you better be ready to go. And his hands are very strong at the point of attack, and, his ability to play in short area. Right? So, he's playing 3 technique, he's playing shade. He's got to be able to make plays in really short quarters, and he has the ability to do that and really has sub-value as a pass rusher, right? So he can create the one-on-one matchup with the guard or the center, or if he's playing outside, on the tackle or whatever, however they're going to use him, he could do that. He's got pass rush ability. And really, when you look at a guy, when you start talking about a potential guy that's a first-round talent, he's got to be a 3-down player, right? And this is who I think he is. And, I tell you, man, you can't get real caught up in the first or second round. Like, he was the 58th pick taken overall, 53rd pick taken overall, something like that. Well, I mean, that's 53 people in the entire country, right? Like that tried to go to the NFL. That's a pretty high draft pick, right? So I told him before this process happened, do not get caught up in the first round, second round thing. The objective is to make the pros and be a part of that and, really just continue your career.
So, Coach, I want to ask you this. When you get the job last year at Florida and you're doing your homework on the players that are there, and Gervon Dexter, you get to him, you get to his tape, you get to who he is as a person, you find out, okay, this guy – He wasn't playing football really until, a whole lot until he gets to, I think, his junior year in high school. Yep. How much did that rawness still stand out to you as you were coaching him? And not necessarily in a bad way, but, in terms of sort of the untapped potential that's still there. And then despite that, how much did he amaze you with his ability, considering that here he is walking into the SEC, playing right away after not playing a whole lot at the high school level?
So the first thing is, excuse me, I walk in the room, or he walks in my office, and I see this 6'6", almost 315 pound. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Got us one. I was just so excited because I just left Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. So, to see that guy walk in the room, I was like, okay, all right, it's good now. I can see it. Then I watch his tape. And we watched every one of his clips, and we talked about him. And there was games like when he plays against Bama the year before I got there. Man, this guy looks like, man, the first top 10 pick, right? Like, and then we watched a couple other games, and I'm like, okay, G, what were you thinking here? I think the point that you guys made about newness to football is huge, right? Because those things, the calluses that you develop throughout your career, come from experience. And when you don't have that experience, right, then things don't come as easy to you. And I think that's where the Bears will be really excited about how his game will progress, because now he has played a lot of plays. Remember now, guys, this guy had, I think, 55 tackles, right, last year. So his ability to make plays consistently is going to be better because he's going to be put in those situations, understanding blocking schemes, understanding what they're trying to do, first and second down tendencies, studying the game that way. I just think he's going to play a lot faster.
Coach, if you go back, say, the first time you saw him to now, and you're calling him Big G, I'm looking for like more comp names that like you're watching him, and I like deep into, like, at first you thought he was this, and then you maybe thought he was that by the end. Did anything like that happen, like where you had sort of a differing opinion over time?
No, not at all. Obviously I played him a lot, guys. Like, so think about this. I would have preferred to rotate him much more, but we didn't have any depth, right? So, this guy played almost the entire game. I mean, if we're playing 75 plays, G was going to be in about 64 of those. So that's really not healthy for him. It's not healthy for the unit, but, you didn't want to have him off the field when something was going wrong. I'm like, man, dang, why wasn't he on the field, right? So I think now that he's going into the NFL, I just think, he's not expected to play 65 snaps in a game, right? He can, if you get that around 40, 45, now you're getting a 100% guy all the time.
Sean, for you, what was Gervon Dexter like in the weight room? You were talking about you went through and watched all of his film. What's he like in the weight room and also the film room as just a student of the game, but also someone who's also physically imposing? What is he like in the weight room and the film room?
I'll give you guys a story, right? So we would play games sometimes at night, and the game would end at 12 o'clock. And about 1:15 in the morning, I would get a text, and he would ask if I watched the game yet. What can he do to get better? I'm like, well, I'm about to watch this bed and watch some sleep, man. But so, and then in the springtime, the guy would sit in my office while I would grade the film from practice, and he would watch it with me until about 10:30 at night. At one point I asked, do you take class? Like, you gotta go, man. So he always was asking the questions of how he could get better. Some guys ask the questions of what did I do well? That's pretty evident, like they understand that. But when they ask the why of how they can get better, then you got something. So, I think people were impressed with him when he interviewed because he's able to speak the pro language. Obviously being around me, the buzzwords and how to answer questions and just the way we coached him up. I think helped him in the interview process. I mean, this is a guy, man. I mean, you got a special one there. I'm just telling you right now. I mean, you got a special one, and I told every team that I spoke to, if I was in that chair, one of 32 in that chair again, that there's no way I would bypass this guy, especially in the second round.
Wow.
So, and I'm just kind of putting everything together. You're on the road recruiting right now. You're sitting in your car. You're stopping, driving. You're making time for us. Which, Coach, you don't know us at all, and I guess maybe you have a little bit of a relationship with Nick, but you guys haven't been having dinner. So you're taking time out to speak on this dude. I mean, you must, and you're calling him Big G, and you just said it right there. But there's got to be something about him that you really like that you'll make this type of time to underline what the Bears are getting and let people know hey. Let's be excited about what he's going to bring.
Well, first of all, Nick, you owe me dinner, right? So I'm cool. I usually
I got you, Coach.
That type of stuff. All right, I appreciate it, man. I recruit Chicago too. So the thing about this guy is that he was on to his second D line coach in his career, right? And really, our relationship really catapulted when I realized what type of human being he was, right? Like he's a great father to his child, and that's all he wants to do is be a great father. He respects his mom. His dad passed away, and I asked him one time. I said, "You say yes, sir, all the time. You don't have to say that to me." He goes, "Is my dad taught me respect, and if there's an older person I'm speaking to, I'm going to always refer to them as sir." I mean, it's like a movie made up, right? Like this guy is he got it all, And by the way, you put him in the phone booth with somebody, he coming out alive. I'm just telling you.
Love that.
That's awesome.
Ain't no soft in Big G. I'm just telling you. I told him one time at practice, he got mad. I told him I was going to tranquilize him.
All right, Coach, I'm going to throw you a quick curveball here. The Bears' first round pick was Darnell Wright. You guys played Tennessee last year. Game planning, I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but when you're game planning for that one, what was that like knowing that, and I know that was a little bit earlier in the season probably before Darnell Wright had really, locked himself down as a true right tackle, but what can you remember from that matchup?
Well, I remember it was a big, strong guy that really you had a hard time rushing because he took such great angles and he played with his hands. When I would scheme guys up and look for flaws in their game, what I call the DNA, he didn't really have a whole bunch of them. I mean, great kick slide and his timing and his punch to an outside rusher was pretty special. I mean, I thought this guy, and equally in the run game, right? Like equally in the run game. I mean, he don't just cover people up; he's trying to maul them. And obviously that system is pretty fast. It's like warp speed going on at all times. But for that guy to not fade throughout the game was pretty impressive. Because usually you could catch him, right? He gonna get worn out. We're gonna go get him now. Man, this dude was active and he was really a problem.
Coach, the Bears locker room is full of great dudes, and we got to meet Gervon for the first time in person over rookie minicamp, and it stood out that he was a friendly, respectful, smiling, easygoing, and you're underlining the intense dude. So we just got to learn over here because we'd like to have him on set, how to really get to know Gervon. What's the way to his heart so we can have him in studio here? Can you give us a little roadmap for that?
First of all, to start off with his little son, Lil G. So we've already offered his son, by the way, guys, the class of 2040 or whatever he is. We've offered his son already, but he, you talk to him about his son, his upbringing, very prideful and growing up in Polk County, and knowing that he represents something bigger than himself. I mean, this guy, I just can't talk any more high on this guy. And you guys don't know me, But I keep it very real. And if I didn't feel this way about him, I would not talk with this passion about this guy.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach. And I'll tell you what, next time you're in Chicago recruiting, you let us know.
We got you.
Got you on dinner.
You know,
I don't know how we're going to do it, but
absolutely.
we got you.
We'll get some good Chicago steakhouse, maybe some Goose Island going. We'll give you the Chicago experience. Coach, thanks so much for pulling over, giving us some time today. Bears fans really excited about your guy, Gervon Dexter, and we'll see how it goes as he enters the league as a rookie this year.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Sean.
There he is, Sean Spencer, Florida co-defensive coordinator and defensive line coach. He's fun. Good job,
awesome.
Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, great job, Nick. I love that guy, and I think everybody now believes in Gervon Dexter. I mean, I know I do.
Yeah.
That was a transformative moment
I'm
in
in.
my Gervon.
I'm in.
You're in, right? Everyone's in. Like,
Now,
come on.
as some people in the comments were pointing out, I think
Screw those comments.
I think it's fair to bring that up. Yes, the position coach of the draft picks are always going to say great things about him. But
he could easily have said, no, I don't have the time to come on.
Right.
Like if he
Yeah, for
really
sure.
didn't like him, that's what he would do.
Yeah.
90. He's not going to come out here and just lie.
Right, and he pulled over like in Alabama. He's out recruiting. Like he made the time to discuss his guy.
Yeah, I mean, he messaged me last night, like, hey, can we make tomorrow work? Wanting to come on the show to talk about his guy. So
And
it speaks volumes.
And I'm not saying that the guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying that I don't think that dude came on or just to blow smoke up CHGO's ass that this guy's good. I mean, I think he really believed himself.
Also, I think it's important to listen to what he said. I mean, we came out hitting with the relevant question. Everyone wants to know right away, and we asked it a couple different ways to follow up. You know, why was this guy so slow getting off the ball at Florida? What were you asking him to do schematically? And I can tell you many coaches that would have gotten defensive about that, how they used them, whatever. And it was no. He straight up said in there, we can pull the clip and post it later for you. He said he's going to be better in the Bears system than he was with us because it fits his athleticism better. That's okay. That got my attention because I'm like, all right. I mean, if the coach that put him in that scheme last year at Florida is saying that and admitting that means something significant.
And also the snaps, guys, right? He was playing so many snaps, and we know the Bears want to have a rotation of guys on the defensive line. They drafted 3 interior defensive linemen. So he's not going to be on the field as much, meaning that his motor is going to be it's going to be better than what it was probably at Florida because he had to be on the field. There wasn't enough depth there. So I think what Sean Spencer was saying, where his game will translate better to the pros, you can look at a lot of reasons why that may be the case.
Plus, if you didn't like him telling you the stories about this guy texting, what did you think of the film at 1:15 in the morning?
Yeah.
When Sean Spencer, the rest of the Florida coaches are trying to go to sleep and Gervon's up trying to get a feedback on how he can get better. I mean, come on. That's I loved that behind the scenes look. So sitting in the office asking all sorts of questions, wants to get better. It's like me and Kevin Kadek's office. I go after every show. I want to review the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
As
wish.
Kevin Kadek is
Kevin's
shaking
like,
his head over there.
I haven't even listened yet. He's like, what do you get out of my office?
Carm, do something, please.
That was definitely a fun interview, though, and we appreciate Sean Spencer. I like when guys also have some experience at the NFL level, like having been through that side of it too as a coach. They could kind of speak to. I mean, you heard him talk about the guys he was coaching with the Giants.
Huge human beings.
So he shows up in Gervon Dexter's, at least in his office, that he can relate to. I like that.
Which is also a smart job by Gervon, right? Oh, this dude's been in the NFL. He probably knows something about what it takes to get to where I want to go. Let me hang out with him some. That's not a genius move, but I like just basic logic in life works a lot of the times if you use it.
All right, got plenty more coming up on the show today.
We do?
Justin Fields MVP
Oh,
conversation.
yeah, right. I'm going to
Yep.
that
Ready.
could get interesting.
Why'd you say we do? You have, by the way, you have about 300 words of notes in here that make no sense. They're basically gibberish. So I need you to translate them for us. It's your segment.
Great. I think everything I wrote down makes complete sense. And I was like, should I do the show a favor by putting my notes from these interviews into what we call Notion?
There's no comments, or there's no commas. There's no periods.
Why do you need a
There's
comma?
no dashes. I don't know who's saying what.
You should try and read his descriptions before I edit them.
That is such BS.
No.
I am offended, and I am perplexed, and I am irritated.
Well, first of all, no, I am giving you credit. There's a lot in here that intrigued me. There were words, there were phrases.
There were intriguing
there
words.
was intriguing phrases about like Roshan Johnson and just all kinds of things.
Okay.
I see where you're going with these, Mark. I'm
Thank
looking at
you,
these for the
Nick.
first. Okay, admittedly, I'm looking at these for the first time right now.
I just need
but-
him to kind of bullet point on it for us.
That's
and,
what
and
that's what it is.
I'm excited. I'm setting it up.
Okay.
The tease is there.
Okay, thank you.
But first, Fubo TV.
Give us a like, though.
Hit the like. Oh my God, there it is. Friday's show is legendary.
That's pretty good.
Friday's show is legendary. Please hit the like. If you're listening to the podcast, you can't see the image, but maybe you saw it Friday of Carm's neck had disappeared somehow, and
Way too many.
What?
All you can eat. Scout seats, White Sox, mac and cheese, M&M peanut. They give you the ice cream cone.
necks everywhere on
Mike
high
and
alert.
Ike's. It was a rough day.
You were there
really
for,
rough day.
You were there for 4 innings.
I went nuts. That's exactly right. And then I took a 3-minute nap because I went so nuts.
All right. Well, if you're watching that game on Fubo TV, maybe you saw Carm in the scout seats. Maybe you're watching the lottery tonight, NHL. Fubo TV, 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. You can stream live TV from any device. Watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Seems like a great deal there. Start watching immediately with a 7-day free trial. There's no contract, no cable, no hassle. You just sign up, start watching. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. And you can watch your local teams while traveling. Got a ton coming up. PGA Championship, Carm's French Open. Which he actually sponsors.
Coming around.
Gets very excited about. WNBA, got the NHL draft on ESPN coming up. You got the lottery tonight. NHL, NBA playoffs. The playoffs yesterday were fun. And, of course, the Cubs and White Sox on Marquee and NBC. I can finally start throwing the White Sox back in there because, speaking of fun, they actually had a fun day.
Yeah.
How did Michael Kopech not get 4 strikeouts? Would have had a 6-leg parlay.
He gave up 4 home runs.
Yes.
Should have
Should have bet that.
Watch either the Cubs or the White Sox on Marquee, NBC Sports Chicago with Fubo TV. Use the link in the description in the YouTube video to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
Check out Fubo TV, and then you got to check out Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn here at CHGO. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. I have my Shady Rays packed, you guys, for when I go out to Hawaii in a couple of days, so I'll be good, reliable sunglasses.
How's bragging camp going?
Yeah,
It's going great right
so
now.
annoying.
I have my Shady Rays to help me brag there. But what's awesome, too, if I lose or break my Shady Rays on, in Hawaii, even on day one, they told us they'll send me a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is going to give out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
All right.
I'm looking over my notes, and I would like to confer that they do make, or confirm, thank you, that they make no sense.
Okay.
To someone other than me, I got it.
Well, Jesse here with the super chat, 199, saying blame it on the cockies.
Nah, can't do that. I was stone cold sober on coffee, and
This was this
It's
morning.
going so quickly.
yeah. No, I
Well, I think he's referring to this.
Oh, that too. I mean,
The Thursday.
we only had
Scout
2,
seats.
so I don't know, but maybe. I think it's all in there. Ooh, it was a fun day. Hope we get to go again. Thank you, King, for the tickets.
Thank you for the invite. I wish I could have made it.
Yeah,
Rich King? What King?
Rich King.
Not Rich King. King's going to remain nameless, but
LeBron James?
It was not LeBron James. And by the way, it'd be really nice if the Warriors didn't have to play 8 on 5. But I know that's not for this show. It's really irritating. Thank you very much, NBA.
If LeBron James offered you courtside seats
Uh-huh.
I take it.
to
Yes.
the Warriors-Lakers game,
Going.
next one,
Yeah.
would
there.
you say yes?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to double check
Oh,
since
yeah.
you hate that guy more than anybody in the world.
Stop. I'm just competitive. It's a nice rivalry. And I also would appreciate, again, do we need to play 8 on 5? Can we actually have a regular game where it's ref properly?
I have another follow-up question for you.
Yeah.
This one has to do with the Bears, sort of.
Yeah.
Do you now know who Luke Combs is? Since he was hanging out with Matt Eberflus on Saturday night.
And
Flus
some
was
other
there?
Bears
I did
players.
not
You
know
didn't
that.
see the photos?
No, I
We
missed
got a
that.
bunch of players.
Yeah.
Luke Combs hanging out with the Flus,
Preston
taking
Ebner,
photos.
Braxton Jones.
He wore Urlacher's
How-
jersey on stage.
How PC would you like me to be right now? 1 to 10. 1 being 0 PC.
1 being 0. Okay. I'll take the 1. Yeah,
What the hell is he talking about?
0.
All right. I mean, I live in the South Loop. Okay. And I was coming back from Wrigley Field with the great Nick Wright and Danny Parkins and Andrew Filipponi, who clipped me out of the pictures from that outing, which no offense to me, apparently. But
Instagram. Gotcha.
so
Wait. Filipponi posted a photo
yeah,
and cropped you out of it
I'm out of it.
because you're not at Parkins and Nick Wright's level?
I didn't go to Syracuse with them. I was there hanging out.
Oh, okay. It was a Syracuse.
But I got
photo.
clipped out of the photo.
Okay.
Should I be annoyed by that? Probably not, but I'm just, well, I was at the, why can't we be like, and Carm?
I'd like to hear Parkins' take on that.
Yeah, no, we might have to get him on the show, but regardless, so I'm coming back down. I can't get home for the life of me. I had to make a U-turn on Lakeshore Drive because Roosevelt's closed off. I nearly died. I had to get home, so I had to go back north, and like every single person is out here to go see this Luke Combs concert. There's no parking. I had to do illegal things to park in the building because there's nothing on the street. I don't know how these people all got parking passes, but apparently they're all friends with the people in the neighborhood who gave them passes for the 1675. I despise that concert.
So what you're saying is you wish that concert.
Yeah, and Eberflus was, I couldn't park because of the Flus apparently because he was there too. Although I'm sure he had the premium parking.
So,
but I was so unbelievably happy when everybody was gone.
you wish the concert was in Arlington Heights.
Ooh.
That's what you wish.
Yeah.
Yes, because that's exactly right. I do because
You cannot wait for the Bears to move.
I'm
and all
totally-
these although there probably still will
I'm
be
totally
concerts
fine
in
with a
Soldier.
Sunday morning crowd coming down. I'm already parked, no problem.
Also, it's all about you.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Like everybody else in this world.
At Saturday's practice, you guys, the whole vibe, Luke Combs, the entire time. Was
The whole practice was
whole
Luke Combs?
practice country. It was a weird vibe. Not to be
was gonna
completely
say.
honest, but they all went there.
It was to the yeah boy Boogie's point. I mean, it had to have been sold out. It was unbelievable how many
jamming,
people
yeah.
were coming down.
Well,
there.
you
Greg
know,
Braggs was there.
Braggs went.
He started a
I
Packers
almost
suck
wrote at
chant,
him,
yeah.
"Get out of my neighborhood."
Braggs actually invited us just without tickets.
Oh, how does that work?
It was a strange invite.
You could be at the outside there.
Well, he just wanted to let you know that he was going. He knew that me and you were having dinner on Friday night. Rare dinner with Carman Hoge, and he wanted to get in on the fun. So he's like, "Come on down to the concert." I was like, "Get out of my neighborhood and don't come back."
Get out of my neighborhood.
You were mad at Braggs for invading your neighborhood. All right. Would you like to translate your notes for us?
Sure.
At all?
Sure. So, as I said, I was at the Cubs on Sunday, Saturday rather. So I did not watch the press conferences till this morning. So I did this morning, and so here we go. My Luke Getsy takeaways: the Darnell Wright thing, not surprising at all. He underlined that he's big, long, athletic. This stands out to you. It's everything the Bears like. I thought when he said it, Nick, you were there. It almost felt like he was sort of regurgitating what they like versus like the true excitement that we got from Sean Spencer right there. I don't know. That's a huge nitpick by me, but that's what he said about Darnell Wright. DJ Moore with Fields, he said there has to be a relationship between the two, that they're in that phase. And that, he underlined. I mean, DJ Moore, if you want to be super optimistic, this dude, if these two connect, like really connect, and you look at his lot in life going through quarterback after quarterback in Carolina and system after system, and DJ already being a borderline, and people are going to push back on that, but okay, let's just call him a true number one wide receiver, but he's never made a Pro Bowl. I mean, this dude with a quarterback that he actually has chemistry with, I don't know, Hall of Famer? Like, he hasn't had that. If he really got on the page and these two were like Devontae Jones, Aaron Rodgers, simpatico, like how high is up for this guy? Does that make sense?
Devontae Adams.
Did I say Jones? I'm out of my mind. Yes, Devontae Adams. Thank you.
We got it.
But you know what I'm saying? Does that not make sense?
No, it does. And that's a big part of it, too, like being the relationship. Because Andrew Janocko also talked about that. It's phase 2, which the Bears are in, and that's basically them throwing on routes on air, just kind of getting the chemistry down. And, like, that's the big thing that they need to work on this season. He has all these new weapons, all these new people. Now it's the chemistry, seeing how that develops. And if that is in sync early on in the season, like, this offense has some opportunities to do some good things on the field.
I mean, if he breaks through, I think that's something to be super excited about. Also, I had the last note here, which makes absolutely no sense. Call about the man Bears are getting. He got a ton of calls when the Bears made the deal. Luke Getsy did about DJ Moore and how to be excited about it.
Oh, okay.
So that, which also happened, by the way, in Richard Hightower's takeaways, that he got a ton of calls on Roschon Johnson. I like hearing those anecdotes. Coaches are excited about the dude that you're getting, and they reach out. I mean, that's obviously a good thing. Called Roschon's. The makeup is cool. The different things he did.
This is still Getsy?
Yes.
Okay.
That it gives the Bears flexibility. He proved in one practice that he can handle a lot. And then he's talking about the running back room. The competition in that room is going to be real. By the way, speaking of, maybe I didn't watch the press conference until this morning, but I think somehow I was with Luke Getsy because I had a dream, I think Saturday night, that Khalil Herbert got no touches. Like, I literally woke up at 3 a.m, kind of in a sweat that Herbert was not getting the football.
You're upset about it.
I didn't like it. I was like bored. I was pissed.
Oh no!
I'm like, why do we gotta diminish Khalil Herbert? Just because
the Roschon love is too much for you.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem for me that I'm having Khalil Herbert dreams. But that happened. That is a true story.
That's amazing.
It really kind of is, right?
I don't think I've ever had a dream about Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
Or any Bears running
yet.
back. I don't think I've ever had a dream about a Bears player.
And this
can't
note,
remember
by this way, this note really doesn't make sense. One guy can't handle the pounding these days is what I wrote. Which, that's uncomfortable. But he was talking about how the fact that you're not just going to have one running back who's going to take on all the pounding. Hashtag Charles Barkley, which was a great clip, by the way. NBA on TNT. Love it. Next note. Which also doesn't make sense. I wrote the stability of the group is important. He's talking about the offensive line. He likes the group, but they've got to come together here. And he referenced a conversation with Jay. He originally called him Joel Hilgenberg. So Luke Getsy is still learning his 1985 Chicago Bears.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's Jay Hilgenberg, the center on that team. And they had some conversation about like the continuity that.
What if he was actually talking to somebody named Joel Hilgenberg?
That would be interesting too.
Jay's brother is Joel Hilgenberg.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Give Lawrence a.
Well, I knew I had heard that name. He
don't buy
played
it?
for the.
What?
Are you sure that Jay has a brother named Joel?
Yeah,
it's on his Wikipedia.
He actually went to Iowa. You two.
Yeah.
So maybe he actually was talking to Joel.
So he could have been talking to Joel. The bottom line is that he referenced that O-line, and can you name it? Can you do it off the top of your head?
Name what?
The Bears' 85 O-line.
Jimbo.
That's left tackle.
Obviously Hilge.
Center.
Bortz.
No, that's the one I would have gotten.
Sorry.
Don't help him out.
Oh, sorry. KVH. Number
KVH.
78. Number 78.
Yes, Keith Van Horn. Okay, now we're helping out Hoge.
Well, I don't know.
What's the fifth one?
Bad radio if you're just sitting there not saying anything.
It's great YouTube. I love Hoge being frozen here.
Once again, not alive for that game.
Now, embarrassing.
Weirdly, I'm saying Stephon Humphreys in my
Oh,
head,
somebody
but
didn't
he's
know
not,
the answer to his own question.
How's that even possible? I should be fired right now.
We need to get Kevin Kaduk
That's
over here.
Is that right?
Well, no, Stephon Humphreys came off the bench.
Come here, Kevin.
Bortz.
Hurry. Help.
Bortz, Van Horn, Hilge, Covert. Who am I missing off that offensive line?
Right.
Tom
Thayer.
Thayer.
Yes.
Bye, Hoge.
No offense, 57. Greatly apologize. Has he been working in this town for a while now? Does he do something on the radio broadcast?
Harry does.
Never heard of him. That is why we shouldn't do the show live.
Really, we need to start
that's
taping
why
the
we
show?
should do the show live.
That's
Please
embarrassing.
delete that from the podcast.
That's embarrassing.
Oh, my God.
No, it did happen.
I was
what?
coming up
It's
with
Monday.
Stephon Humphreys. I just, I like.
I mean,
Stop with the 85
Kevin
Bears.
Kaduk, can you
Yeah,
name
let's
the
get past the
backfield?
85
I
Bears.
think it was Walter and
Where
what?
do we we have a picture.
No, was it?
Matsui.
I understand that. I'm
What
trying
are
to
you trying to say?
the backup running back.
Gentry?
Not Pinky. No.
Who cares?
There was some
Whatever.
great
What are we
backup
talking
running backs.
about?
Anyway,
Are we
back
talking
to
about, Justin Fields here?
Getsy. This is fun.
Oh,
I'm
Getsy.
going to set a timer. You get 2.5 more minutes to get through your notes.
Okay, 2.5. I'll do it. Robert Tunyon.
Timer for 2.5 minutes.
Robert Tunyon. I thought this was Pepe. We don't need Suey. 26. I could tell you every story about him. That him and Walter were great friends. We can have a conversation offline. Okay, Robert Tunyon calls him Bobby. Talked about how he was a practice squad originally. It's easy, Siri. He says he transformed himself, Robert Tunyon, into a workaholic tough guy. He thinks that's contagious, and I thought it was very interesting that he underlined that Bobby could be a good influence on Cole Kmet, and that made me think, no, I'm not going to make my time. But Kmet was the guy who led Fields into the yoga room this year, and Kmet's kind of been a pseudo-offensive leader. And let's remember that Cole Kmet is a young player. So I think somebody coming in there to have a little bit of influence on Cole to get him to the next level, I loved that little.
Well, I think Tunyon's a major upgrade at their number 2 tight end spot.
sure.
And actually, I heard this on the Athletics football show driving down here today. Robert Mays brought up where Cole Kmet ranked in like EPA per play, expected points added per play, and he was he was next to Robert Tunyon. I'm not sure who was ahead and who was behind, but they were like basically equal.
Hey, 2 of those guys. That's going to be an addition to the offense for sure.
That whole little part of his press conference got me super excited. And then, of course, the Fields part that he's light years ahead and then also where he was last year at this time, a ton more to grow going forward. Oh, I thought also one other note, 1/3 of the yards he ran for last year, he obviously he's ballparking it, but we're on pass plays. So he's obviously anticipating that with the improved offensive line and everything else improved, that number's going to go way up. Quickly, the Richard Hightower takeaways, text messages on Roquan from everyone. Apparently, they had a pop quiz that Roshan nailed. Called him as violent as they come. This is for you, Hoge. Called him a linebacker. This is Richard Hightower talking about Roshan Johnson. And then he loves the anecdote of him sitting there picking up the water bottles after a meeting where all these dudes just leave water bottles around and he goes and picks them up. I don't know anybody around here that would do that.
Oh, no, we got a lot of people that leave crap everywhere in this office, and it's very annoying.
Yeah. Like who?
All of you. Everyone.
be
There's
the
just
Roshan
cups
Johnson this
here. It's but water
Who
bottles.
takes out the
everything.
trash the most around here?
Jake Flanagan.
Oh, my God. What host takes out the
Oh,
trash?
Mark Carman.
Thank
probably
you
does.
very much. Thank you. God, I had to work for that one. Like things how
But
I like
shout out to
things.
Rojo. That's awesome.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, that's why,
Yeah.
when we talked about him, and I know I'm taking part of your time now. Timer just went off. You lost.
Oh, no.
I put it in the scouting report. He's already a professional.
Yeah.
And I think he showed that at rookie minicamp already. Just whether it's acing the pop quiz that they had after one day, picking up everything they installed in one day, literally picking up water bottles that are laying around. Like, just have some respect, right?
He's a good
for
person.
and I love it.
Adult.
He's an adult. He's an adult, yeah.
He's a 22-year-old adult. Took me to 46 to get to be half an adult. Congratulations, Roshan.
I just like to point out though that. Okay, you said half an adult. Yeah.
Well,
So Alan Williams called Gervon Dexter a linebacker with his hand in the ground, and then Richard
Yes.
Hightower called Roshan Johnson a linebacker.
we got a lot of linebackers.
Well, he is a linebacker on the field. Well, and I asked him. We went over this Friday show. Just what's your favorite part about special teams? And he said kickoff.
Well, on that level, he says he's got a lot of versatility. He can be an up back. He can block on the front line, and then he's going to help him cover kicks as well.
Does it all.
Where would you use him, Coach Special Teams Hoge?
I mean, everywhere. Right now, DeAndre Houston Carson is not
on the roster? I mean, not
signed.
No, yeah.
And if that's the case, then they need another personal protector. To me, that makes a lot of sense to put him there on punt.
Especially with his running back background, pass block protection. Like, it's a very similar skill set.
Yep. That's just off the top of my head. I don't necessarily know. I haven't looked at his special teams film. I don't know where they played him. But
he likes to tackle, though. He doesn't get that opportunity on offense.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I would definitely have him out there on punt. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, look, he can play on all of them without a doubt.
Okay.
Like the Roshan.
I mean, it's exciting. Like the special teams feels like Richard's got a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, you did not get a great question from Richard Hightower. He gave great questions to Herb Howard and Courtney Cronin. I was disappointed in that, Nick. Next time you're getting a great question, damn it.
Was he upset I wasn't there?
I don't know if he was upset. He was just very happy that, whoever was there.
And then he referenced a moment with Tyler Scott and Trey Tucker, who both were teammates at Cincinnati, and that they would race each other to get the quickest to the ball. Tucker, of course, was a third-round pick by the Raiders, if people aren't following that, and then Tyler goes fourth round to the Bears. But he said, quote, "For an offensive player, he does not look like a guy who is afraid to tackle." So the whole draft is just filled with special teams guy. He underlined Noah Sewell. Yep. He says he's going to be a great fit along with Dylan Cole. The Bears special teams looks like they might. I mean, it could be a significant weapon. And then Saul got all this competition. He said the only thing that happens when you get competition, the leaders start standing out. And then I don't know, Hogue, do you make the depth chart at Carmel?
For special teams, yeah.
Well, Hightower doesn't make it for the Bears. He says, quote, "I don't make the depth chart, you do." You ever tell that to your guys?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying.
That was good, though. I like that. I like hearing that from
catch.
Hightower.
Yeah.
Like, it's all on you.
I mean, there's definitely truth to that.
Mm-hmm. No. How you play.
There's some truth to it. And
there's a lot of truth to that.
As
coaches, we make the depth chart based off of what the players do.
As seventh graders who nailed every shot at Edgewood Trouts and got cut, you make the team, not me, because I did. Bartolai. Now you can go along.
Wow.
That's my trigger on that one.
Something just came out of Carman.
Yeah,
there.
that was dark.
I'm still. It's super dark.
I think we just had a break, a breakthrough, a therapy breakthrough right there.
That's why we do these shows live, right here.
We can do that on my own personal podcast on the street later today, and
hopefully it's not right.
I don't think people
Carm on the streets.
I don't think people are gonna really want to know about it. The fact that I wasn't in the same programs as these other kids, and maybe I didn't look quite like the other kids, and I got dismissed, and it still bothers me to this day, and I need to grow myself up. We can do that on my own podcast.
Stop staring at me. It's very weird. It's very upsetting.
The image on the bottom of the screen is still screwing with me. Hey, CHGO is supported by Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. Since 1988, 3 years after Tom Thayer was the Super Bowl champion with Chicago Bears.
85.
Goose Island IPA, 6-time medal winner, Great American Beer Fest, always in style with citrus aroma, bold hop finish. They got the tropical beer hug, dry hopped Imperial IPA with 9.9% alcohol. That is dangerously easy to drink. Of course, the classic 312 wheat ale. They got the full pocket pills, and No Plans Pale Ale right now is my favorite. Got it.
Is that back?
I don't know.
I thought that was like only a limited release thing. I thought that was off the market.
Still his favorite, even if it's limited.
I mean, it's still in my fridge, so.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And I've been drinking a lot of it, so I feel like it's still available. But if not, look for it next time it's available. Grab ultra fresh brewery exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
Well, one thing that we definitely know that is available right now is the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, which is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills. Now, Nick, and into the future, buddy.
Yeah, Carm. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes, Mark.
Nick, I do need you to tell me how that works, sir.
Absolutely, I got you here. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. They can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. And if you own a business, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you really just say ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
I sure did, Carm, so go schedule it today.
That's what I'm talking about. Hoge. Go.
I like a couple people in the comments are saying that you look like David Stern in that photo.
David Stern? Is that anti-Semitic? What's going on?
Is that anti-Semitic?
What do you mean I look like David Stern?
It's the one where he's like
Well, it's
choking
that
on
hair,
water, right?
like the short hair.
And he's choking on the water.
The short neck.
Yeah.
I actually do see it now. And that's
It's there.
Well, I wish I was David Stern and not me, so that would be a great. I'd do some things differently.
Dylan's asking if there's an After Dark tonight. It is going to be Wednesday this week. We got a new After Dark schedule. Do you want to talk about that?
Not specifically, because
No.
Wednesday is turning into a potential. It's going to be an early After Dark on Wednesday. We're going to go a little bit earlier on Wednesday.
Okay. We'll keep you posted on that. But the answer
yes,
to
but there will not be an After Dark tonight is the answer. We are doing for the next couple of months because the CHGO softball team is being run by me, with GM Kevin Kaduk above me. We will be doing some Wednesday night After Darks in this slightly a different time of year. So, but we'll obviously be promoting it when it's going to be on. But Wednesday nights is going to be the night.
Bears
Nick?
on Kauai.
Yeah.
Wants to know, Nick, 999, where are you going? What island? He says, my first time on Maui will be in October. Don't miss Oahu Malasada from Leonard's. Hawaii Willie's Hot Chicken in Kauai. He says he'll grab you a beer at Kauai Beer Company, which I can vouch for as well. I should have worn my Kauai Beer Company hat. I'll wear it tomorrow for you.
Okay, cool. I'm going to Kauai. So we Bears on Kauai. DM me on Twitter. Give me some recommendations. We'll be good to go. So go there on Wednesday.
Thanks, Bears on Kauai.
I got it. Yeah, there's a pizza place I got to give you too.
Oh, for sure. Give me everything.
Which is really, it's really close to where the Marriott is.
And that one beach.
People don't even know it's there.
The route to get to.
Oh yeah, Honolulu Bay, my favorite place in the entire world. That's on the north end. You got to go. And then Dolphin for sushi.
Ooh,
just remember that one.
The Bull's Eye Insight here has a great comment. 802 people, only 50 likes. Come on now, it's Monday. Let's start the week off right. Get those likes up. Let's go.
His YouTube is a little behind there. We've got 159 likes, but
let's go.
That's not 800. So let's get that up, people. Come on. Thank you.
Also, one more shout out for Fubo TV with everything going on with the playoffs, NHL and NBA. Baseball, you got Cubs, you got the White Sox, so much to watch. Of course, French Open, PGA Championship. You should be using Fubo TV. If you're using something else, what are you doing? 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. Stream live TV from any device. You can watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. And you can start watching immediately. You get a 7-day free trial, so you can try it out for a little bit. There's no contract, no cable. There's absolutely no hassle. You just sign up and start watching in moments and try it all out. Watch the White Sox on NBC Sports Chicago. Watch the Cubs on Marquee with Fubo TV. Use the link in the description to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. All right, got about 10 minutes left in the show. Got a lot to fire through here as well. Do you want to go with the Justin Fields MVP conversation or what some of the nuggets Peter King had?
I think we start with the Fields MVP because that is tall. But I don't want to go first.
So Dan Orlovsky on Get Up this morning said something he also said last year, which is Justin Fields is going to be in the MVP conversation. I think it's important to note, conversation.
Okay.
The 4 weeks in November. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how he was playing.
Well, if we're going to spend a whole offseason and even half of last season talking about how he needs to make the jump that Jalen Hurts did, Jalen Hurts nearly won the MVP, it's not as outlandish as Carm's side-eye just gave me.
He's comparing him to Josh Allen.
Yes.
Josh Allen was
Okay, Josh Allen. Let's just do what Josh Allen did. All right, Josh Allen, his second year, was 271 for 461. He had a completion percentage of 59. He threw for 3,000 yards, 6.7 per catch, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. All right, he went to 37 touchdowns. One more interception, only 10. His completion percentage jumped 11 points. He threw for 1,500 more yards, 45-44, and he threw the ball 111 more times. That is a huge.
But you didn't listen to what Dan Orlovsky said.
I didn't.
He said that Justin Fields needs to be what Josh Allen was in the final 11 weeks of year 2, which was the first numbers you rattled off there.
All right.
He did not say that Justin Fields needs to be year 3 Josh Allen, which I would actually argue the opposite. If Justin Fields is going to live up to expectations in Chicago, his trajectory actually does need to be Josh Allen. It needs to be the guy that actually took to year 3 before he exploded, and same thing with Jalen Hurts. And now we have a couple recent comps for that. You add DJ Moore, you add these weapons that we've talked about. I think everybody agrees the cast around him is better. And as we talked about last week when we asked the question, does Justin Fields have enough? He has enough to do it. Now it's up to him to do it. Does he have to, does he have to be in the MVP conversation? No, that's not what we're saying. We're responding to what Dan Orlovsky said. I think that they're October, early November, when that conversation starts, it would not shock me at all if Justin Fields is in there.
Well, I think it's not just Justin Fields, but I think the expectation for this passing offense is it will be better. Like I asked Janoko that specific question. What are your expectations given you have all these new wide receivers, you have more offensive linemen, you and Getsy are here in your second season with Justin Fields, and he said we've got to take a step forward. That has to be a strong point in our game. This has to be a strong point to help this team win games, and they're taking the building blocks this summer to make that a focal point of the offense. So it's not just like obviously Fields needs to do a big part of this, but I think the offense has these expectations that this part of the offense should be taking a leap. It has the players in place to help Justin Fields maybe be in that MVP conversation, even if it's just for a couple of weeks. I mean, that would be ideal because there are no more excuses, I think, for Justin Fields this season. He has everything he needs to take another step this season.
Let me be clear here. I think that I just don't want to put too much on Fields. The dude threw for 2,200 yards last year. 2,200. I mean, that's 800 less than 3,000, and this guy made a leap to 4,500. I understand that it's not just year 3 for Josh Allen, but and also MVP.
He's not throwing for 4,000. No one's saying that.
Well, some people.
I don't know how that got into the conversation.
I think a lot of fans like that.
It's a different offense.
4,000 number.
The Bears are going to run the ball, and Justin Fields is going to run the ball more than Josh Allen. I'd rather put a number on all-purpose yards if we're going to do something like that.
Okay,
it's not fair. It's not the same offense. It's not the same. But
you also have to
win. Me, this needs to be dumbed down more. It drives me crazy.
Please
This is where I have Dan Orlovsky's back 100%. Throw out the frickin' numbers. For a month, he was clearly the best player on the field in 4 straight games on either team. And they played the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, and the Lions. They weren't playing dog shit teams. They weren't playing, the Chiefs and the Eagles either, but they were playing some pretty damn good teams. And he was the best player on the field, whatever the number said. And they were scoring 30 points per game. It happened.
Right, but
he's got so much more help now.
Okay. I love what you just did. We're gonna clip it. I found it to be very, very adorable. You know what? You know what you need to do to be the MVP? Your team needs to do?
Yes.
You need to win games.
Yes.
How many games are the Bears going to win next year?
More than what they did last
Right,
last
I agree. Okay.
No one said he's going to be the MVP in the conversation. Didn't he get a vote last year or some weird
I
thing?
think that won, didn't he?
Okay. Would you be more surprised if the Bears started 1-5 or 5-1?
I don't ask me on Thursday night when we have the schedule.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Okay.
1-5. I don't.
Actually, I'd be more surprised if they
1-5.
started 1-5
Yeah.
because 3 years ago they went 5-1 to start the year. And they were awful.
They did.
Okay. All right. Okay. Listen, I think the Bears most likely, I think it's totally fine, are going to start slow. The chemistry is going to build over the year, and by the end of the year, hopefully they're playing really good football, and we can be super excited about what's coming the next year as the chemistry builds, plus the draft picks, and we can really start pointing to the Bears as a legitimate playoff team by the end of the season.
I think that's fair. But if the Bears finish the season 8-2 like the Lions did last year, okay, and to your point, how they're better in the second half than first half, which I think is a completely rational.
That makes sense. They might start off
Expectation.
slow, yep.
If they finish 8-2, and during that stretch, Justin Fields is the best player on the field, don't you think that gets him in the conversation? Which is all anyone's saying here.
Okay, all right. Listen, maybe I'm elevating in the conversation. I mean, like that he would finish like in the top 10 voting of MVP. If that happened, like Getsy's talking about, the chemistry has to happen. That's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in training camp. They're going to have to get on the field in the heart of football, in the heat of football battle, and figure some stuff out.
I just say, look, and I think this is actually a decent point to bring up Peter King's power rankings now, because I don't think it's anyone's fault, but I think there's sometimes a disconnect between like those that are strictly looking at too much at the numbers, not watching enough of the football. Like sometimes it's right in front of you. Just watch the games. I'm not even talking about diving into the tape. Just watch the games. Understand the context of what players are dealing with and playing through. But on one end of the spectrum, you have Dan Orlovsky saying MVP conversation. And on the other, you have Peter King putting the Bears 31st out of 32 teams in his power rankings.
29.
29. Come
I'm
on.
off on all these.
Give him credit.
Did I read a different one?
Maybe.
Maybe.
29.
29.
Regardless, 29, not very high. Bears have fixed a lot of things in one offseason, without question. It could be anywhere on this list from 31. That's why I thought it was 31. 31 to 13 by December, which I would say is actually fair. Anywhere, from the. I don't think they're. I really don't think they're going to finish like top 5 or bottom 5 again, but 13 would put them like right on the border of sneaking into the playoffs. It would be in the playoffs, just barely, right? And I think we'd all say like that's probably a decent ceiling, as we look at this thing in early May. But today I need to see more of Justin Fields, the passer, to fall in like with this team, which I actually thought was a great way of writing that. I appreciated that. But again, I don't think that's giving Justin enough credit for what he did in the middle of the year when he literally just elevated the entire team and kept them relevant in a stretch where they went 1-3, but they had nothing there.
Equanimous St. Brown was your number 1 wide receiver during those games. So was freaking Dante Pettis. Like, those guys are now your bottom end of the wide receiver group. Like, this, it should be different. You have so much more talent this season.
And Cairo Santos missed an extra point. They could have won one of those games too. All that's true.
They led the league in scoring.
Right.
Defense was giving up all the points in the world.
But you also do remember how the year ended. They absolutely switched how they were playing, which teams had to adjust.
Sometimes I wonder if how much the narrative of the offseason would be different. And I'm talking about specifically with Justin Fields. If he had just like thrown for 250 and a couple touchdowns against the Lions instead of he looked bad. He was bad in that game.
Was bad
he was
for
bad
everybody.
in Detroit.
It was bad for everybody.
And I just wonder if like it hadn't ended on that sour note, if it's just a completely different conversation.
Well, but the conversation, I mean, there's a lot of super positive conversation going on around Fields right now, which is great and realistic.
My point is that my point is that I think the people that understand the full context and watch what he was physically doing, especially in the middle of the season, and are not losing sight of that, are the ones talking about, the the jump that everyone believes he can take. And then those that are just kind of like zooming out on the year and being like, you know what, these numbers aren't that impressive. And he ranked like 31st out of 32 passers in this category and whatever. Like, they're just fine if that's how you want to look at it. Joey here, super chat. Carm, this is simple. If he got one vote on the worst team in the league, theoretically this team should be much better. 6 to 8 wins.
There you go.
Should be able to be considered in the conversation for MVP.
Okay.
I agree.
If we're going to go one vote and he plays well and you think that say they get to 8 wins. I mean, I think the Bears can – we got to look at the schedule and all that stuff. But, like, right now, I don't – I think they're going to be winning 7 games, 8 games. Like, I would put it 7 to 10. If things come together after that Gervon Dexter interview, maybe we can get on the 10 side. I don't know.
Double digits.
You have to. We got to be realistic here on some level, right?
Of course, yeah.
Who's getting to the quarterback? How's that going to happen?
How long does that relationship take to get the offense rolling? Like, there's a lot of variables here.
Yeah.
All right, last thing we got to get to before we get out of here is this Germany stuff. Look, this is why. So Peter King also had in here that the Chiefs
are afraid of the Bears.
No, that's not what it says.
I know.
Does it say the Chiefs suck? Is that on there?
So in here it says the Kansas City is playing a November game in Frankfurt this year. That's a fact. The German newspaper Bild reported KC would play Chicago in the Germany game and that KC would play again in Germany in 2024 when Carolina is due to host a game there. I've been told that there's been some doubt on both of those reports, King writes. Can you actually move that window down just a little bit there, Lawrence? Thank you. First, when a team gives up one of its home games to play overseas, it has the option of requesting to the league one home game on its schedule that the team does not want moved. I'm told Kansas City requested that the Chicago game not be played overseas. In 2024, it's hard to imagine Carolina would not try to keep Patrick Mahomes' only currently scheduled game in Charlotte for the next 8 years at Bank of America Stadium. This is why I don't have inside information on this, but I have not been able to get any either way. My understanding here is there's a lot of people in the league that would like that to be the game. Bears, Chiefs, Germany. But for many reasons that have never made sense to me from the very beginning on this, it doesn't make sense that the Bears would be the team that you – first of all, you have the new marketing agreements, which the Bears have in UK and Spain. So why would they use one of their overseas games that they're only going to have like 1 or max 2 every 5-6 years, right? Why would that be played in Germany? That doesn't make sense to me. On the other end, you have these games where a team only comes and visits your home stadium every 8 years. I don't know if you noticed, the Bears fans travel well. Mm-hmm. And cities, not just teams, like when the Bears come to their city because they bring a lot of revenue with them. They travel well. There are tourism dollars involved in this. But
that doesn't make any sense. I don't mean to cut you off, but like the Chiefs aren't going to not sell out.
Well, I know that. That's why I'm talking about more about travel. Their tickets are going to be sold either way, absolutely. But there's a difference between fans traveling into your city and more of those tickets going to people that already live there.
Right, but do the Chiefs care if there's a bunch of Bears fans at Arthur Gates Barbecue?
I think that there's...
It's not their money.
So are you calling Peter King a liar?
No.
Obviously, there's a reason why the Chiefs want the Bears to come to Kansas City.
Yeah.
What are those reasons?
The reason is the Chiefs suck, and they're afraid that there's going to be a ton of Bears fans,
Justin Fields
and it's going to be all Bears in Germany, and there's going to be 7 Chiefs fans sitting there because the Bears have better fans than Chiefs fans. And I'm telling to Kansas City, quit worrying about Bears fans dominating you, and just man up and play the game in Germany.
Kansas City they're in Germany. There's plenty of Chiefs fans that are going to be there.
I literally you can't tell me that it's more logical they're out there for KC tourism over the fact that they're worried they're going to lose a home game because of Bears fans. That makes more sense. They are afraid of Bears fans. They are afraid of Juan and Yabuki and Leondis and Daniel and Kurt and everybody else in the chat who hates me / loves me. They're afraid of these people because they know they'll travel. We are better Bears fans, greater fans than Chiefs fans. They know it, and they're trying to avoid us.
Well, I do agree that regardless, the Bears are going to have a ton of fans wherever they play overseas. I mean, put them in Australia.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
The Bears fans are.
I mean, they can't seriously. They can't be worried about getting more people to Arthur Bryant's or to the Negro League Baseball Museum. That some people have trouble saying that word. That was unbelievable over the weekend. Anyway, I don't get it. Just man up and play the game. Play the Bears. We were planning on going. This sucks. Let's go. Bears.
Okay, again, it's just about Card Watts.
That's right.
I just want to, okay. This whole time I've been for months trying to logically look at this, and it never has made sense to me why that. But obviously, it's in play. I mean, I'm not denying that there's. It's obviously part of the conversation that they're having behind the scenes, and there's, as you're seeing here from Peter King just reporting last night into this morning, this still seems to be in flux. But I've had no point had anyone with the Bears tell me, yeah, this is happening, and I think that this is why. I think. Now, what I really want to know is
by the way, I completely believe his report. I think the game's off. Like I'm that far.
I think it's Bears or Lions, honestly, facing the Chiefs.
I think it's gonna be Chiefs.
It's gonna
Lions.
be one of those two.
I think it'll be Chiefs Lions.
Lions make a lot. Lions make more sense to me.
Or the Dolphins.
Again, the Dolphins have Spain, so I don't know.
Guess we'll see later this week, possibly.
And by the way, we're walking into Arrowhead and beating your ass. That would be amazing. Overrated. Arrowhead overrated, Kevin.
Fields
just spun in his chair and looked at me like, there's no way the Bears are going down to Kansas City. Why can't I be the meatball and say we're going to win for once? We're going down to KC and beating their ass.
The Bears won the last time they played there.
When was that?
Jay Cutler.
8 years ago.
Matt Forte.
Jay Cutler.
What was the 10-3 game? Was that at Soldier Field?
Oh, that was awful. Tyler Palko versus Kyle Orton actually started that game. I think played one snap and got his hand hurt. Tyler Palko came in. It was the worst game I've ever covered, and it was the morning after one of the best games I ever covered, which was the first ever Big Ten championship game between Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. That was like in the 40s. That was a fun-ass game. Lawrence was probably there.
Yeah, that's great.
Lived up to the billing.
10-3 game? Oh,
and then the next morning, waking up at like 5 a.m. to drive back to Chicago to cover Chiefs, Bears, awfulness.
That's good effort by you.
The only touchdown score of that game, Hail Mary right before halftime.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's right. Okay, now I remember this game. Yeah.
Forgetting who caught it, but I feel like Urlacher mistimed his jump or something and could have knocked it down or didn't.
That's right. That's right.
I hate that game.
And that was the only touchdown in the game.
Braggs knows.
Yeah, he does.
Whatever,
Braggs.
All right. Congrats to Justin Fields for graduating.
Let's go.
That's awesome.
Justin.
Questionable university, but nonetheless, congrats, the Ohio State University.
I mean, seriously, how likable is the dude?
Kevin Warren's even there.
Kevin Warren.
Let's go celebrate
My guy.
QB. One. Let's go.
He probably just had a meeting with Gene.
He told me when he was walking out of practice on Friday that he was going. I just didn't want to tell anybody because he said to keep it low.
Yeah, he
There's no chance he told you that.
He did give you a handshake.
Shook my hand, patted me on the ass, and said he was going to Columbus.
Kevin Warren, everybody. President, CEO.
That's why he gave me that look.
Fun Monday show. Thanks to Sean Spencer for jumping on with us today. And
that feels like 3 shows ago at this point.
We had a lot to get to on this Monday. Thanks to Karn for translating his notes for us.
You're welcome.
Nick has one more show with us tomorrow before he flies off to wonderful Hawaii. Do you have a direct flight, by the way?
No, we're going to Los Angeles then.
You're going to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
I just knew you were going on vacation. I didn't know you were going to Hawaii. Is this a special trip?
It's just a
what?
We just did a segment on this.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. Bears on Kauai gave us a super chat.
I love you, Mark.
You have CTE?
I have a lot of things going on. Bears on Kauai. I somehow just didn't put that together. And it's been a long show. Congratulations. I'm looking forward to hearing what happens on the trip.
Ooh. I'll let you guys know.
It's a big trip.
I thought you were going to say you're looking forward
to the neurologist appointment?
To what happened on the show when you go back and listen to it on your way home, since you clearly didn't listen the first time around.
There's a lot going on here. I was here for the most part.
I was here for the most part. That should be your Twitter bio.
I was here for the most part. Oh, I like that.
All right, well, we're back tomorrow. Hopefully, Karim joins us noon. And,
The damn image.
coming your way. We'll talk to you tomorrow. My goodness.